completely forgot I had to do that. Okay, it says I am live now. Hi. All right, so we're going to continue our conversation, and today's conversation, which a lot of us do, it's one of the reasons most of us never feel heard from our friends, from our partners, from our families, right? Most of us feel like we don't belong in certain situations. There are friends and relatives that we don't like talking to, myself included. So you would always hear me say we, because I am going through it as well. And one of those issues, as the topic stated, is interrupting others or finishing people's sentences. Maybe you do it, maybe somebody do it to you. But I will start with how it makes us feel, right? And if this is your first time, we are completing the book, right? Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. And as always, I'll be looking around because we have here YouTube and my computer's right here. So I'll be checking to see if there are any comments. And most of the time, I focus on TikTok. For some reason, I like it here. Right. So, like I was saying, maybe in your life there are people that you talk to, and you never feel heard. It's like they just never listen to you, right? You can sit down, have a conversation. Let me give an example because this is just coming to mind. Somebody very recently on my Threads account, she wrote, because I was talking about narcissism, and she wrote that she has some friends whom she would listen to them and they would talk to her, but when she tries to talk to them, they never listen. They never give her the ear, and she never feels heard with the friends that she has and she talked to. This topic is one of those reasons, right? If people that you talk to are constantly interrupting you, for my female, women, feminine people, right? We know how that feels when you are in a relationship, a romantic relationship, or you are at work. And when you try to speak, they are constantly interrupting you, and you feel less than. You feel unheard. You feel unworthy. It brings up so many things within us when somebody's constantly interrupting us when we're speaking. And the other one is finishing our sentences before you complete your thought. Somebody thinks that they know what you're about to say, and so what do? They complete that for you. It is a source of a lot of people's nervousness and anxiety to the point that they might not want to talk to you anymore, right? Or you might not want to talk to them anymore. But then here is the twist. Most of us do it, but when people do it to us, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. Most of us do it, but then we don't realize that we're doing it. We know when somebody is doing it to us, but we don't realize when we're doing it to other people, which is very important. Because most of the time, the things that we don't like in somebody else, it's because it is within us. It's triggering something within us. Most times we do it, but then when somebody else does it, it drives us crazy. Another correction that I got recently that's related to this topic on my Threads account is somebody was asking about active listening. What is active listening? Which is very much connected to this topic, is being able to listen to someone without you thinking about the response that you're going to give them, thinking about whether they like you or whether you like them, trying to get them to like you, trying to get them to see you. None of that. Active listening is just listening with an empty mind, with an empty heart. You're just there and you're listening. You're not trying to do anything mentally, right? Because most of the things, if not all of the things that happens to us, it starts from here. So the way that you're able to let somebody speak without you interrupting them or without you finishing their sentence is active listening. It's just being there. It's just listening openly. You just listen to them. Let me read. There's a part that I like about the book, and this is number 7. Don't interrupt others or finish their sentences. It says, think about it for a moment. When you hurry someone along, interrupt someone, or finish his or her sentence, you have to keep track. This is the painful thing about listening. And some people would say, I don't want to listen to somebody else's problem. I don't want to listen to somebody else's issue. Nobody wants to do that. But there are times your own family members, your partner, your close friends, they need you at a moment where all they want from you is just to listen. When you hurry someone along, interrupt someone, or finish his or her sentence, you have to keep track not only of your own thoughts, but of of those of the person you are interrupting as well. Which means when you're talking to someone, when you're having a conversation, and this happens a lot in people that are busy. Even the book said that, right? But even regular life, somebody who's not busy, not at work, you're just speaking to your friends. It's painful to sit down and just listen to people because each one of us, we want to be able to talk about ourselves. Isn't it more fun to talk about yourself than it is to listen to someone else? You want to talk about what you accomplished, your accolades, the places you went to, how awesome you are, how great you are. You, me, we all do it. We like that. I used to be like that as well. So it's always easier to talk than it is to listen to someone. But healing, being able to help someone heal, or even healing yourself, starts from being able to listen. Because not only do you have to listen to someone else, you also have to listen to yourself when you're on the path of healing, of going back to your higher self, of connecting back to yourself, connecting to your ancestors, connecting to divine, whatever you believe in, God, Allah, Jesus, whatever you say, in order to connect back to all of that, listening is a powerful tool because our gut feeling talks to us, tells us things. When people say, I don't know what my life purpose is, how do I know what's good for me? How do I know which path to take? Usually, when you hear those questions, it's because the person have not learned to listen to themselves. And when you've learned to listen to yourself, it is much, much easier to listen to someone else. Now, the hard part is listening to someone who triggers you, who triggers that, I want to say pain point, but Eckhart Tolle would say pain body, which is the unhealed version of us. It could be the ego version of us, all right, when somebody is triggering that. I am currently facing that. So I'm seeing it as a lesson, as a life lesson. where somebody around me I know doesn't listen, does not listen. I have to tell them constantly, let me finish. Let me complete my thought. Let me complete what I am saying. And I know some of you have been through that. Right? YouTube, let me know in the chat, TikTok as well. Let me know if you've experienced that. Hi, Dre. Let me know how if you've experienced that and how that made you feel. Girl, wake up podcast. Yes. Hi, girl. It's been a while. You're still around. I haven't been live in a while. Nice to see you. I should look you up too and join your live. Thank you so much for being here. I love it. Right. So, there's a part that says that this in turn makes both people nervous, irritable, and annoyed. How do you know? Makes both people nervous. How do you know? Have you ever talked to somebody for a minute or two, whatever that interval is? You're talking to them and they just respond very quickly. Or you're talking to them and you know they're not listening and they can't hear you. Or you're speaking to them and they just complete what you are saying. But there's this tiny moment that you feel within yourself and you just don't feel good. You know something is wrong in the conversation, but you don't know what it is. I can feel that when I do it to someone, and usually I would just go, "Ugh, I should have waited." Let me know if you felt that. Either you did it to someone or they did it to you, but then you don't exactly know what that feeling is or what just happened or what you just experienced. So you just brushed it off. I used to brush it off, but I can't anymore because I am much more aware when that happens. Another example, this is just coming to mind now, and it happened a while ago. I was at a boat event. It was at a boat party somewhere, boat event, right? And the DJ, can't remember, either he was a DJ or just a vendor. I don't want to have a runny nose today. He was the DJ or he was the vendor, and he had these bright lights on. And where I was sitting, the light was right in my face. And so at that point, I wasn't on this journey, so I didn't know any of the things that I'm talking about. So I just got up and ran and went to him. But before I went, the person that was sitting next to me, I told him, "Ah, that light is so bright." And the guy responded, "Yeah, he should have turned it around a little bit." Now, me being who I am, and the masculine side of me was very much in effect. I said, "Let me go tell him to turn it off or turn it away." The guy next to me didn't say anything. He just kept quiet. And I got up and went to the DJ, and then I realized he's a vendor. He had his mat there. He was selling some jewelry, beautiful stuff. And I was attracted by the stuff he was selling. So I looked, I was like, whoa, these are amazing. And then I went back to my seat and I told the guy, "Oh, he's a vendor. He's selling some stuff." And the guy said, "I know." I said, "What, you knew?" He said, "Yes, I knew." But you didn't wait for me to tell you. You didn't listen. You just got up and went to talk to the guy. And at that moment, if the ground could open for me to drop in it, to cover me, I would have I would have just let the ground swallow me whole. Because I knew right there that I could have saved myself the embarrassment, the trouble, if I just took another second and spoke to the person that was next to me, instead of trying to feel like I knew better, I knew it all, I could take care of it, and just got up. So maybe something like that has happened, or what I'm saying, you can relate it to an aspect of your life, right? Being able to listen to someone, even in text. You can listen in text. When you read, you don't read and judge it right away, but you read it and then you let it sink in before you respond. I was listening to Queen Poe today, and she was talking about emotional intelligence, and she was saying an important step to take is when somebody says something, to ask them, what do you mean? Why? Because how I might define a word or how I might define a situation is very different from how you would see the same situation. Is very different from how you would explain the same incident and the same situation. When I say God, everybody has their own definition of what God is, or how they articulate it, or how they define it, whatever that would mean to them. One time I wrote it somewhere. I said God something. I can't remember exactly what I posted, but I do remember somebody commenting back and saying, "But we have to be careful with what type of God we are talking about." And I'm thinking, your definition of that word and mine is completely different. But they just said we have to be careful. So I didn't respond, right? I have learned to do that now. I feel like I have nothing else to say. So let me just recap and then we end it for today. We can come back tomorrow. Oh, there's this part. I realized how destructive this habit was, not only to the respect and love I received from others, but also for the tremendous amount of energy it takes to try to be in two heads at once, trying to be in two heads at the same time, which is trying to process your own thoughts and emotions and whatever's going on in your mind, and at the same time trying to figure out what's in the other person's, assuming what's in the other person or what the person is saying. It is very, very destructive to our own mental health and at the same time to the relationships that we build. Now, I learned this part is coming, and you can, let me go back before I start stumbling on my words. When we talk about inner child healing, and healing ourselves and whatever trauma that you have and have been through, being able to trace this back to where it came from, how it started, who you learned this from is important. That's how you understand how you can cut it from the source. Why? because I learned this issue from my own mother, whom we constantly would say, "You don't listen. You're not listening to us." And she would say, "Everybody tells me that I don't listen, but I listen." I'm like, everybody's telling you you don't listen because you don't listen. So I learned that from her. I learned trying to get into people's minds, finishing people's sentences, interrupting others, acting as if I know it all and I know better. So when somebody is speaking, I feel or assume that I already know what they're about to say. So I cut them off, interrupt them. But when you do it to me, I feel like I could choke you. Which is what I said, that 99% of the time, what you don't like about somebody else, it's touching something in you. It is something within yourself that it relates to. And I had to see that one of the reasons I really despise people interrupting me and finishing my sentences is because I do it and I have learned to do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like from here anything I say will be a repeat of what I've already said, because that's basically the whole thing, is learning to just listen, empty, learning to just clear your mind. And I'm quiet now because I just realized that the silence around me, knowing that the more you're okay with the quiet, the more you're okay with the silence, the easier it gets for you to just sit back and just listen to someone speak without you having to interrupt them or tell them what they're about to say. If you can listen to somebody who stammers, people that stammer find it very hard to find their words or to say their words. If you can sit and listen to them, that is a good practice. Because sometimes some people, it takes them a long time to bring their words out, to articulate themselves. And you might think, oh, something's wrong with them, whatever. No, but it could just be they have just never learned to communicate. Nobody has ever taught them to communicate. So now they are learning to communicate. You listening to them can give them that validation they need for them to feel heard and seen and loved and enough. But yes, when you're able to listen to the silence, just quietly, nothing's running in your head, being empty, as Muji would call it, just be empty. Whatever comes, comes, whatever goes, goes, but you stay empty. When you're able to do that, it's very much easier to listen to people. And the most important part, it's very easy for you to listen to yourself, your gut feeling, your intuition, that little voice inside of you that is giving you the answers and the messages that you need every single day. And I'm going to close with this quote. I'm going to paraphrase. It's just come into my mind now that says, um, sit in silence. You will get all the answers you need. Sit in silence. You will get all the answers you need. Bye bye, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. I am still getting back on slowly, so I haven't really decided exactly what time will be live. I'll try to create that schedule if possible. If not possible, then between 1, 2 Central Time. Central Time. Yeah. I'll be live, but I'll be live every day. And like I said, everything I talk about now, I'm learning to put into text. And if you go to the link in my bio, two free groups, three. The Facebook page, which is the Divine Feminine Energy, the Facebook group, the Divine Feminine Energy, as well as the Telegram group that you can join. Most of those people never get hurt. So if you're the one to let them feel that way, trust me, their energy towards you is amazing. Yes. Thank you, Dre. This is true. You can find the link in my bio, and of course, follow me on Facebook, and then we can have more conversations and things that I'm not able to talk about because I want to do this for just 30 minutes. I will share on Facebook the page and the group, the Telegram group as well. And now my Amazon shop is open. So of course you can support me on Amazon. I opened it yesterday. Anyway, bye bye everybody. I'll see you tomorrow because I can talk. I love talking. See you. Bye you too.